Hello and welcome to 365 Days of Healing. I thought I would begin a series of little healing modules on the way from my book called Transformations. And if we start at week 1 and then just sort of each week go through what a week of the Transformations book, we'll come to the end. Now, the book lasts for 9 months. It is a guided journal, so it allows you to tune into what your thoughts are about certain subjects on the way through the journey of what journaling is about. As I say, it's a guided journal. You can journal without being guided through it. But the very first week of this book is about our soul connection and what that means at a universal level. Now, if we go back to, say, the beginning of time, and we don't know when that was because we talk about eternity, there's no beginning and there is no end. But there was something that, because of the timeline that we're in now, we seem to need a starting point and an ending point, because that's the world, this 3D world that we're living in. But it's coming to understand concepts beyond this 3D world that we live in. So our soul connection, what does that mean? Our soul is the part of ourselves that can observe everything that happens within our life and in our environment and in our world. But it goes further than that, because it then has the ability to observe things outside of ourselves in different dimensions. And the very highest order of the dimension is what we call the source, or the essence, or the Godhead, or the monad, universal consciousness, universal awareness. And what does that mean? And the first week of this book is to do with exploring what that is about, what our connection to that is about. For some of us, we have a heightened awareness of what the source of everything is. We carry the source within us. We are part of the source. We are part of the essence of everything. Everything that we are is connected to everything else around us, because we are all fractals. We are all separate little molecules or cells, if you want to put it like that have come from the essence of the beginning. Now, it's very difficult to put these concepts into words, and that's why, of course, we use meditation. If we meditate and we can still the logical left brain and focus ourselves into what the essence is about, of what timelessness is about, and what mindfulness is about, we start to understand what the source was about, what the Godhead was about, and the divisions then that came as we went down from the Godhead. Because the source of everything, if we want to put it like this, did not recognize itself, because it just was. I am. So to recognize itself, it needed to take a form so that it could observe itself. And that's when from the essence or from the source, then there was a consciousness that came where we took form so that we could look back to the essence, to the Godhead, to the monad. And we made choices, to begin to fractalize, to change the way we presented so that we could observe back. So it's an exploration of what and where we came from. The soul part of ourself is connected to the source into eternity, because eternity has no beginning and no end. Our soul has no beginning and no end. Even science allows us to understand that energy, and we are energy cannot be destroyed, but it does change form. So the essence of when we take form, we come through the birthing process, and we come here in a state of purity, in a state of innocence, and in a state of lacking any self-consciousness at all. Depending on the codes that are written into us because of our ancestry, and these codes are in our DNA, depends on what we have brought with us from the past and what we have to undertake to understand as we go forward in our life. The important thing to remember is that it is in the purest form that we come here. We don't undertake anything that is just not understood at a soul level. So once we connect back into our soul, we start to understand what we have come here to this earth plane in this form, in this eternal unfolding, to understand what it means to be a part of the whole, be a part of the source. And we do have the ability to rise back to the purity after we have been conditioned in particular ways as we grow up from being that innocent baby that is born, or even the template and the coding that is written into our DNA. Now, our DNA can be thought of as a computer program, and we do have the ability to change that programming. But it is up to us in a conscious way to undertake to change the programs that we have come here with. All right, so that's the first thing is the contemplation about what the soul self is and what that soul connection means. Everything that you know is a part of the essence. Everything that happens around us is a part of the essence, even if we don't fully understand it, that at some point from the purity of love, joy, harmony, and bliss that was the Godhead, was the monad, was the epitome of understanding. For it to understand itself, it needed to start to divide and become part of different cells and organisms so that it could then come to understand ourselves. And some people have made the choice to go down the dark pathway so that it can begin to understand itself. And some people made the choice right from the beginning that they would go down the pathway of light. And it is just an investigation as to what all those parts mean as we go forward. We are at a time, as I have said many times in the past, we are at a time in the universal order where here on this earth plane, there are huge changes happening, huge control mechanisms being put into place that compromise our freedoms, that almost take the soul self away, destroy our spirit, which drives us forward, all sorts of things. And if we don't keep connecting back to the source, if we don't feel our soul connection to something greater than what we are, then we are lost. So hopefully you can go away from this, get a journal and start writing what you believe, what you think about that soul connection that you have and what it means for you. Namaste, my friends.